All right, so this is 3D from worksheet 0.3. And I see a big fraction, I see lots of parentheses, and I see several exponents. So let's think about how to attack this. If you've heard of, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, that will apply here. That means parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, subtract. That's the order of operations. We can knock out the A and the S at the end because there's no adding or subtracting at all. So the big thing to worry about here is whether we multiply first or apply those parentheses and exponents first. Really, it's the parentheses and exponents. That has to go first. All right? So in the numerator, we're going to do a couple things. We're going to leave the 4x to the 6th alone because it doesn't have another exponent on the outside. All right? That's being applied to both of those factors, 4 and x to the 6th. So there's no exponent out here. If there was a little 3 here or something, then we would have to deal with that right now. But there is no little 3 or 4 or any exponent out there. So it's just going to kind of wait and see what happens. Next, we need to worry about, actually, let's just mention that on the bottom, 10x is in the same boat. There's nothing to do with it. There's no exponent on the outside of the parentheses. It's the other two that we need to take care of right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this part and come down here and work on it separately. So if you want to separate your work for now and then put it all back together up top there, that might help. So what we need to do with this is we need to think about what negative 5x squared means. And I'll do this one the long way, and then we'll do the bottom one the short way. The long way is to say negative 5x squared means negative 5x times itself. True? True. Okay? And we could say, let's multiply the negative 5's. What do you get? Positive 25. Okay. Now let's multiply the x times the x, and what do you get? X squared. X squared. So that second set of parentheses in this box up here is 25x squared. That's what it becomes. Sometimes we see the mistake of making it negative because our calculator says so. That negative 5 squared is negative 25. It's not. If you type this in, your calculator will incorrectly say negative 25. And that's wrong. Okay? So don't do that. What you want to do is you want to make sure when you're trying to square a negative, you put parentheses around it. Then it'll give you the right answer, 25. So I'm trying to clear up some misconceptions as we go here. And let's go back up. So we have that one taken care of. Now, we need to worry about the negative x squared cubed. Well, first of all, it's a negative base that's being cubed. What's it going to end up being if it's going to be cubed? Will it be positive or negative if it's taken to an odd power? A negative times a negative times a negative. It's going to be negative. All right? Got it? If a negative is cubed or taken to the 5th or taken to the 7th or taken to any odd, it'll still be negative. If it's taken to an even power, it will turn positive. So our answer will be negative. X squared cubed is x squared times x squared times x squared, which would be the long way, right? So what is it? It's x to the 6th. When you have an exponent to another exponent, you multiply them. So on the bottom, we have negative x to the 6th. Whew. On the top, multiply the constants or the coefficients up there. So multiply the 4 and the 25, and what do you get? 100. In the world of x to the 6th and x squared, you add their exponents. Because x to the 6th is like 6 x's sitting there, and x squared is 2 more. How many are there? 8. Class says 8. Okay, good. There would be 8 x's sitting there. So you add the x to the 6 and the x to the 2. You add the exponents to make x to the 8. On the bottom, I have 10 times negative imaginary 1. The class says negative 10. Good. All right, negative 10. On the bottom, with the variables, you have x to the 1, imaginary, right, times x to the 6. What do they make?
X times 7.
Thank you. Now, we're almost done. If you're following along at home, my scratch work is down here to the left. Okay? This is the actual working out of the problem on this side. All right. So let's see. Divide and conquer. If I asked you 4 years ago what 100 divided by 10 was, what would you say? 10. Guess what it is today? Still 10. All right? 100 divided by 10 is 10. But wait, the 1 is negative. You have one of each, a positive and a negative, it's negative 10. On the right, you have the new rules of exponents that we've been learning about the last couple of years. And you have 8 x's on top and only 7 on the bottom. So you subtract them. Who wins? Top or bottom?
Top.
Top by 1. So that's where we got negative 10x as our final answer. In the box, you follow the rules of division that you learned about in 4th grade. You do 100 divided by 10, negative. In the blue box on the right, you follow the rules of exponents and subtract. And get rid of the web page and see your final answer, negative 10x.